Hey all, welcome to another video. And it's sorry to adjust my chair. Um, it's nearly 1 a.m. here in Sydney, Australia, and I just finished creating a new GitHub repository. And um, this repository was about API Key Authentication in a NodeJS app. So I'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. But yeah. It's nearly 1 a.m. and I'm full of energy right now. It was a slow start to my Saturday, but then as the day went on, um, you know, things picked up some steam and I could actually do some productive uh, work today. So I'm very happy about that. And I managed to get uh, the opportunity to write some code, and which is great because as I mentioned in my previous videos, uh, these days at my day job I'm not really writing a lot of code because I spend most of my days talking to a bunch of stakeholders and trying to understand um, their systems and trying to understand their expectations and work with them and other business stakeholders. Work with both technical and business stakeholders to uh, estimate and do some sort of resource planning and try to put a dollar value around some of the things that we want to do. And all of these things are very, very focused on security because as of um, as of last year and um, as of last year around October, we had a big issue here in Australia where we had a data breach with some of these with some of the bigger organizations where a whole bunch of customer data was leaked. Like hackers managed to get through the system and um, a lot of customer data was compromised. So that has been since then, security has been at the forefront of many organizations. So this is something that everyone's thinking about, and this project that I'm working on in my for my day job is very much around security. So day in day out, I'm learning about things like um, the sort of WAFs that we use. WAF is Web Application Firewall, which for those of you who don't know, it's different from the network firewall. Uh, and then some of the things around a whole bunch of auth mechanisms, like I'm sure we all know basic auth and then OAuth and like JOT and all that. So that and things like logging and what else, like a whole bunch of things related to security. So it's not much to do with writing application level code. So there's that. So the fact that I managed to get the opportunity to write some Typescript and then write like a little API to do some sort of actually it is around security, but the fact that I managed to write some code and everything, um, that's awesome. I'm feeling really happy about this right now. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. So I'll just talk about the repository that I made. So it's a new repository on GitHub, and it's called Typescript API Key Auth. So what it is essentially it's a Node.js Express app built with TypeScript, and it has API Key Auth mechanisms. So you know how every time you create a user, that user is every time you create a user, the system assigns a unique key, a unique API key, a base 36 API key to that user, and it stores the user record accordingly. So every time the user calls the API to get some data, um, that request would expect the API key to be a part of that header. Um, okay, so let me talk about this from a different angle. So what I've done is build an exchange rate API. So it's like a sample code for an exchange rate API. So this what this API does, every time you create the user, every time you add a user to it, now it would generate a unique key for that user, a unique API key for that user. So every time that user wants to get the exchange rate information, the system would expect to see that API key in that header, in one of the headers. So it's X API key, or that's the header name. I'll update the documentation for this so you can know in more detail. So yeah, the code is all there. It's all GitHub. You can check it out. Now, I took that a level, one level up, and I also added what we call rate limiting. So rate limiting is one of the things that one of the things that can prevent your API against a DDoS attack. That's distributed denial of service attack. So I've just done a simple implementation. So when you add the user, you have a particular there's one of the properties in that user would be the usage, and for that usage it's an array of objects, and that object is the day and the count. So each day you cannot, a user wants to get the exchange rate information, cannot do that more than 10 times. 10 is just an arbitrary number, and I put that in the code, so it could be anything that you set it to. It's just some config thing. So yeah, it's a simple API. I've created that repository on GitHub. You can check it out, and tomorrow I'll update it by adding a README with details around how to use it, how to set up, and so on and so forth. It is very simple. It's quite small, and it's easy to understand. So hopefully you find something useful in it. So if you like it, please give a star. That would be really nice. And if you feel that there's something missing, please clone the repository, fork it, and create a PR, and I'll be happy to merge it. So yeah. Alright, so that's pretty much all I wanted to say in this video. So this has been a fun Saturday evening for me. I'm quite happy. It's actually a pretty decent evening actually. So I watched the most recent Tomb Raider movie, and then I found time to do this work. So this was really good. And this weekend I'm mostly spending time by myself. So this Saturday I have it to myself. So that's how I chose to use it. So yay. Anyway, I'll put a link to the GitHub repository in the description of this video, so please check it out. And for all of you, have a good evening, and until next time, live long and prosper.